Good morning. I'm Judge Tammy Long Hayward. This is the State Court of Clayton County. This is the 10 a.m. arraignment and jail calendar for April 21st of 2026. I'm going to call the arraignment calendar first. Then I'm going to call the jail calendar. If you're represented by counsel, the attorneys will speak on your behalf. If you are not represented by counsel, then we'll talk to you about what that means, whether you need counsel, whether you have counsel, and they just are not here currently. My first case on the calendar is Gloria Daniel Billingsley. I'm sorry, Billings. That's Mr. Fry's case, Stephen Fry.
Looks like he filed a waiver.
Okay. Yep, waiver was filed March 13th of 2026. I want to make sure that we don't lose track of these private attorney cases where they file a waiver and then we don't see them again. So we got to come up with a mechanism where we are not like chasing them and then they come at the last minute and say that they don't have discovery. So we will figure something out. All right. Next case is Campbell, Sylvia Ann Campbell.
Judge, Ms. Campbell is present in the courtroom, and I'm going to request a conference with the state. I'm actually already speaking to Ms. Adams, and we're going to try to get that resolved today.
All right. Carpenter, Wysino Carpenter.
Judge, he is present in the courtroom. Shall I have him approach the podium?
Yes, please. Mr. Carpenter, you're before the court for criminal trespass. I do not see an attorney representing you. If you wish to have an attorney, I can appoint one to you or give you time to hire an attorney.
I wouldn't have this guy right here represent me, please.
All right, I will do that. I'll appoint the law firm of Lister Holton Dennis. Mr. Lynch will speak with you about your case. And then you all can make an announcement before the court at the appropriate time, okay?
Okay. Thank you, Judge.
Right.
We'll conference.
Elliot, I'm sorry. Yeah, I got you down for a conference. Elliot Harris.
Elliot Harris in the courtroom.
Elliot Harris is in court. Okay, no, Elliot Harris. I'm looking on the screen. I do not see. Ladies and gentlemen, it is so much easier for me if you put your first and last name. I see a Kaylee's mom, but that doesn't mean anything to me. For the calendar, please put a first and last name. Just go to the rename function, and that makes it a lot easier to see who's here when I'm looking and I'm calling names. Okay, so bench warrant, bond forfeiture for Elliot Harris.
Okay.
Quatalis Harris.
No one in the courtroom.
Last call for Quatalis.
Request bench warrant bond forfeiture. Your Honor, are you froze?
That they had a bench warrant at some point in the minute time, but I don't have it. They're here.
I'm sorry, Your Honor. I didn't hear anything you said prior to bench warrant. I think you're froze. Is it my computer? Mr. Lynch, is the judge froze on yours?
I believe there's a delay.
Okay.
Can y'all see me?
We see now we can.
Your computer is freezing up, Judge.
Y'all see me now? Hello?
You're freeze, like your internet is freezing.
Oh, well, is this better? Y'all see me now?
I'm sorry, Your Honor. We can't hear anything you're saying. And your picture is froze.
Yeah, stand by. I'm gonna get her to sign on.
Okay.
The Wi-Fi. Is this better?
Yes.
Okay. Hopefully that helps. You know, when they're running everything in a certain space on Wi-Fi, sometimes the Wi-Fi is overwhelmed, no matter how many gigs or volts or lightnings we have.
So
All
yeah,
right.
what we left off was Cortalis Harris, but
Yeah.
I don't think anybody heard what you said related to her.
I did not get a response, so bench warrant bond forfeiture.
Okay.
Destiny Layfield. Destiny Layfield. Destiny Layfield.
Say the question, bench warrant bond forfeiture.
Bench warrant bond forfeiture. Lakeisha Chantel Lachlan. She's also on a bond forfeiture calendar.
She is present in the courtroom, Judge, and we're gonna have that's gonna be a negotiated plea today.
Oh, okay. All right, plea for Lachlan. Valander Tyrone Minus. Valander Tyrone Minus. Valander Tyrone Minus.
Say the question, bench warrant bond forfeiture.
Bench warrant bond forfeiture. Next is Shane Luttrell Sam. Shane Luttrell Sam.
Say the request, bench warrant bond forfeiture.
Shane Luttrell Sam. Bridget Williams. Okay. All right. Bench warrant bond forfeiture. All right. Next is Honesty Denise Taylor.
Judge, I believe she's on the Zoom call, and I believe we would need to have a conference with her.
Honesty Denise Taylor.
Ms. Taylor, could you unmute your microphone and turn on your camera? So
Ms. Taylor's conference. Okay. My camera's on. Y'all see me?
We see you, Judge.
I don't know what's going on today. 1 minute is sound, the next minute is everything. Bridget.
I'm here. I couldn't unmute. This is
Okay.
Honesty.
I got you, Ms. Taylor. Bridget, you're going to have a conference with your attorney in a moment. Bridget Marnay Williams.
Yes, I'm here.
All right. Ms. Williams, you're charged with no insurance, invalid registration, no tag, expired or invalid tag, license not failure to change your license to the appropriate address, and no tail lights. Did you wish to have an attorney represent you, or did you wish to represent yourself?
I can represent myself.
Okay. Did you wish to speak with the state about your charges to see if there's an offer of a plea that you would be willing to accept? You're always entitled to enter a plea of not guilty and have a trial at a later date.
No, because my situation at the time, because I don't even have that car anymore.
Okay, so do you wish to speak with the state?
I don't know. What would they? I don't know how to answer that. Like, what would they?
Okay, here's the thing. So you've decided you're going to represent yourself, which means that you don't have an attorney representing you. And generally, if you're representing yourself, or if an attorney is representing you, if the attorney's present, they would speak with the state to see if there's a plea offer that you might be willing to accept to resolve your case today. So you could enter a plea of guilty, you could enter a plea of nolo, and it would resolve your case. If you wish to have a trial, then you would enter a plea of not guilty, and you would have a trial that happens at a later date, and you would have time to prepare for trial. I do warn you that, and it would be much more effective having an attorney help you with trial, because the court cannot treat you any differently than they would someone who knows the rules of evidence or procedure. But these are primarily document charges. And if you wish to speak with the state, they might be willing to listen to you if you have made any changes regarding having these things fixed or corrected or not having a vehicle anymore. So that's up to you.
Okay, I'll talk to the state. It sounds like I need to talk to the state, so I'll talk to the state.
Okay. I'll put you in a breakout room in a moment, all right?
Okay.
Before we do breakout rooms, that's the last case on the arraignment calendar. Can we go ahead and do the plea for Miss Lachlan? And then that way she can be on her way when she's finished.
We can. Ms. Lachlan, if you come forward. Yeah, you're gonna stand right next to me.
Miss Lachlan, raise your right hand for me. Do you solemnly swear or affirm any testimony you give in this matter will be true?
Yes.
All right, you can put your hand down. You're before the court on State of Georgia versus Lakeisha Chantel Lachlan, 2023 CR 02876 for tinting violation, count 1. No license, count 2, and failure to have headlights, count 3. You're represented by the law firm of Lister, Holt, and Dennis. Mr. Owen Lynch is with you. Mr. Lynch, what does your client plead to the offenses before the court?
Judge, it's going to be a guilty plea to count 2, and count 1 and 3 would be null pros pursuant to the agreement as I understand it.
All right, by entering a plea guilty to count 2, you give up the right to have a trial by or judge.
Your Honor, can
They
you,
prove your guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. And if
Your Honor, can you redo the colloquy from the beginning? I don't believe she's heard anything that you stated.
That's true, Judge. You've been coming in and out.
hello?
Your Honor, can you hear us?
All right. Can y'all hear me?
Yes,
can
ma'am,
hear
but
you.
I believe you keep going in and out.
Yes, Judge. Yeah, they're dropping those though. That's why they make a big deal about it. This is the only one you're pleading to. Saying guilty instead of no difference because no was not. Might want to say the no in case you get a driving on suspended license. No license doesn't suspend your license. But you don't have a license anyway. But you need to get one. Hey, you want to put on one?
All right, can you all hear me?
Yes,
We can
we
hear
can,
you.
yeah.
Okay. All right. So, Miss Lachlan, by entering a plea of guilty to count two, counts 1 and 3 will be no pros. You give up the right to have a trial by jury or judge. You give up the right to have the state prove your guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. You give up the right to have the presumption of innocence in your favor. You give up the right to confront witnesses, subpoena witnesses, present testimony and evidence on your behalf, to not incriminate yourself. And if you are not a United States citizen, a plea of guilty or no contest could negatively impact your immigration status. You understand all of these things?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Factual basis recommendation, please.
Yes, ma'am. On February 24th, 2023, officers with the Clayton County Police Department conducted a traffic stop in the area of Riverdale Road and Greenwood Lane for a vehicle that had extremely dark window tint and no activated headlights while raining. Officers made contact with the driver and identified the driver to be Miss Lakeisha Lachland, the defendant. During the course of the encounter, officers did determine that her driver's license was that she didn't have a driver's license. This all occurred here in Clayton County. The state's recommendation, being that this is her first and 5, is 12 months to serve, 2 days credit for time served. The balance is suspended upon a payment of a $500 fine. Counts 1 and 3 being authorized.
Okay. So Mr. Lynch, anything on
Judge.
behalf of your client?
Just a request, Judge. This was her, I've spoken to her about the importance of having a license, Judge. I would ask the court to consider giving her 90 days to get this paid off. I know that's a little bit more than the court typically likes to do in this situation. I've spoken with her and her son, and together they are sure that they can come up with that amount within 90 days. If the court would give her that period of time, she would certainly appreciate it.
Okay, but let's talk about Miss Lachlan. Why wouldn't you just go down and pay $40 and get a license? Come on up to the podium.
Yes, ma'am.
Come up closer so I can hear you. I'm trying to figure this out because I get a lot of people who are in here for no license and they're obviously driving. So I just don't understand why you would risk a $737.50 citation instead of paying $40 and getting a license.
I can try.
You can try. Are you not confident about your driving skills?
Yes, Your Honor.
So, Miss Lachlan, just between me and you, you've been driving since you were like 16, haven't you?
Yes.
Why can't you get a license? They've even made it easier to do because, like, I went down there, I'm thinking I'm gonna stand in a long line. You go in there, they got a kiosk, you stand in the line, they give you a number, you move from one station to the next station to the next station. Next thing you know, you got a license and you out of there. It did not take long. And it was like $40 as opposed to $737.50. I'm just trying to make it make economic sense. We clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so go down there and as soon as you're clear of all of this, go get your license, please. Don't risk that again.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, and you tell anybody you know, don't get behind the wheel with no license. That doesn't make any sense. Okay,
Yeah,
so
I think we need to do a bench warrant set aside on Lachlan as well.
okay, so we'll do a bench warrant set aside for Miss Lachlan
Thank you.
also, because Miss Lachlan, they were looking for you. So 12 months to serve 2 days, credit for time served, balance will be suspended for you to pay a fine in the amount of $500. Instead of putting you on pay only probation, I'll go ahead and give you the 90 days to pay. So what I'm going to ask you to do, it's going to be $737.50. You're going to go down to the second floor right below where we are. You're going to go to your left when you come through the double doors and go to the traffic court window. They're going to give you your paperwork. Your paperwork is going to have the exact date by which it needs to pay. But you can always come up here to that window and pay if you want to make partial payments as long as it's paid by the 90th day. Okay?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. And get your license, ma'am. Don't risk this for $40.
Yes,
All
Your
right?
Honor.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
You're free to go at this time. Go downstairs and get your paperwork.
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
Mr. Brooks, can I ask, are you handling all the matters on the arraignment calendar?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I was just, because I've been sending Miss Adams texts about Miss Campbell. Should I probably direct those to you?
I'll tell you what, would be easier if I just come down there real fast.
Sure.
All right, I'll come your way. Is there anybody else?
As far as OTB, I don't think there's too much more that we need to, but
All right, I'm headed that way. Just a second.
thank you, Mr. Brooks. What's the place you're working? Yeah.
All right, let me know if you all need Williams. I'm going to put you in a breakout room with Mr. Brooks. And I guess Mr. Lynch, if you need to be put in a breakout room, let me know.
Yes, Your Honor. I think Mr. Brooks might be making his way to the courtroom, but when he gets here, I'll make sure he checks in with the court.
Okay, so if he's coming into the courtroom, Miss Williams, just give me a minute until he gets back to a computer, and then I'll put you in a breakout room with Mr. Brooks.
Hey, yes,
All right.
ma'am.
All right, thank you.
If you could maybe do a breakout room with Honesty Taylor.
Your Honor. Attorney Powell. I'll come back later, I guess.
Your Honor, may I be put in the breakout room with Ms. Williams?
All right, Mr. Brooks, are you ready for a breakout room with Ms. Williams?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Can you hear me?
Yes, I hear you. Ms. Williams, I'm going to put you and Mr. Brooks in breakout room number 1. You'll see the invitation pop up on your screen. You can go into the breakout room, and when you're finished speaking, you can just come back out to the main session and we'll hear the announcement.
Your Honor, Miss Williams is prepared to move forward with a plea.
All right, Miss Williams, raise your right hand for me. Oh, you got to turn your camera on. All right, raise your right hand for me. Do you solemnly swear or affirm any testimony you give in this matter will be true?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, you can put your hand down.
Okay.
You're before the court on 2022 CR 05797. Bridget Marnea Williams, no insurance, count 1, invalid registration, count 2, no tag expired or invalid tag, count 3, failure to change your license address, count 4, and no tail lights, count 5. What was the agreement between the state and Ms. Williams, Mr. Brooks?
Ms. Williams be entering a no-low plea to count 1, no insurance, count 2, 3, 4, and 5 are being null pros, Your Honor.
All right. By entering a plea of nolo to count 1, you give up the right to have a trial by jury or judge. You give up the right to have the state prove your guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. You give up the right to have the presumption of innocence in your favor. You give up the right to confront witnesses, subpoena witnesses, present testimony and evidence on your behalf to not incriminate yourself or present testimony or evidence against yourself. And if you are not a United States citizen, a plea of guilty or no contest could negatively impact your immigration status. Do you understand all of these things?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Factual basis recommendation, please.
Yes, ma'am. On March 31st, 2022, officers with the Clayton County Police Department were doing traffic enforcement in the area of Riverdale Road and Flat Shoals Road. Officers conducted a traffic stop on a vehicle. They identified the reason for the traffic stop was that the vehicle had one working tail light. They made contact with the driver. The driver was identified as Ms. Bridget Williams, the defendant. During the course of the encounter, they did determine that her registration was lapsed because of no insurance. As well, during the course of verifying her name through her license, they did determine that her driver's license did not have a current address on it. She was cited for the same. This all occurred here in Clayton County. State's recommendation is count 1, a $200 fine. Counts 2, 3, 4, and 5 are being null pros.
All right. So, Ms. Williams, I generally give you 30 days to pay the fines and fees. The fine is $200. The total will be $298 with the surcharges. Did you need more than 30 days? I can give you up to 60 days.
I would like to have at least 60 days, but I'm gonna
That's
try
fine.
it within like way before that time. But
Okay,
I
yeah,
just on the safe side.
that's fine. So what I'm going to ask you to do right now is to you're going to send your email address to Miss Brenda Castaneda. So what you're going to do is, do you know how to use the chat function?
Oh, on here on Zoom?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so go to chat, then click on new chat. And from the list that comes down, you're looking for Brenda Castaneda.
Mm-hmm.
And when you click on that, go ahead and type in your first and last name, and then type in your email address and send that to Miss Castaneda. And when you've sent it, you'll be free to go. Just make sure you check your email for your information about how to pay. You can pay online, by phone, or in person.
Okay. Thank you so much.
All right, Ms. Williams. Now, you had a lot going on that wasn't right with that driving. Would the chameleonaire say driving dirty? I'm gonna need you when you hit the road in a vehicle, make sure everything is good, okay?
Yes, I have had
It's expensive out here.
it is. I was going through so much at that time. Like I have had like two cars since then. I have insurance, I have registration, have
Look at
everything
you.
together. Yes. And I have a daughter now, so
Okay.
I can't
So
risk.
you can't ride crazy.
Yeah, I can't ride crazy at all.
Okay.
So
Yeah, being a mama, it'll snatch you right back, won't it?
yes, ma'am.
All right. Well, you check your email, Miss Williams, okay? And take care. Make sure you pay that within the 60 days.
Okay, thank you so much.
All right. Be safe. All right. So we have left Campbell, Carpenter, Sam, and Taylor. And I know that you're free to go at this time, Miss Williams. I know that there were conferences on all of those.
Your Honor, did you say Sam?
I believe so. Yeah. Sam is one of the, I believe, the person responding to Sam, did they respond? Because
I think that was a bench warrant bond forfeiture.
okay, that was about the time I was glitching.
Yeah, I think that's a bench warrant bond forfeiture. According to my calendar, I
Okay.
think Carpenter, Campbell, and Taylor that's outstanding.
Okay, all right. Yeah, Shane, Latrell, Sam, your bench warrant bond forfeiture. Okay, let me know. I guess Mr. Lynch will let me know if he needs a breakout room.
Yes, ma'am. Your Honor, is there anybody who was unrepresented on the jail calendar that I might be able to expedite the calendar with?
Hold on.
I see Aisha Jordan. Well, no, she's represented by Lister on one case. So they have both cases. Looks like
Yeah.
everybody's represented. I know Mr. Smith is in the courtroom on Quindarius Redding.
Okay. And now listen, I'm fine with if Mr. Smith wants to talk to you about it. If the deputy can bring out Redden, that's fine too. I just, for whatever the safety issues are, if she's ready to bring out Redden and you need to speak with your client, then we can go ahead and do that too, Mr. Smith.
Thank you, Your Honor. I have spoken with the prosecutor about something that's not necessarily for the arraignment today, but he's looking into it for a consent bond. But this morning, we're just going to be doing a waiver of formal arraignment and plea of not guilty.
Okay, so if you're going to do a waiver and not guilty, then we'll go ahead and accept that now. You are free to go. Just continue to communicate with the state.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, be safe.
I'm going to let them know that they don't need to bring him out then.
Yeah, we will. I'll let him know that you were here and that you have already made the announcement on his behalf. All right, so Quindarius Deontay Redden, that's going to be a not guilty plea and a waiver.
I thought I saw Mr. Carmichael earlier as well, Your Honor.
I'm sorry?
I was just thinking, I thought I saw Mr. Carmichael earlier.
You did. He has a petition. I think the petition is for Jamar Saunders.
Gotcha. Okay.
I do have an announcement for the OTB calendar for Mr. Carpenter, if the court and the state are ready for that.
I'm ready.
We do have a negotiated plea for Mr.
All right,
Carpenter.
bring him up. Mr. Carpenter, raise your right hand for me. You solemnly swear or affirm any testimony you give in this matter will be true.
Yes.
All right, you can put your hand down. You're before the court on Wicino Carpenter 2023 CR 03430 for criminal trespass. You're represented by Attorney Owen Lynch, who's with you at the podium. Mr. Lynch, what is your client plead to the offense before the court?
No contest, Judge.
Right, by internal plea of nolo, Mr. Carpenter, you give up the right to have a trial by jury or judge. You give up the right to have the state prove your guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. You give up the right to have the presumption of innocence in your favor. You give up the right to confront witnesses, subpoena witnesses, present testimony and evidence on your behalf, to not incriminate yourself. And if you're not a United States citizen, a plea of guilty or no contest could negatively impact your immigration status. Do you understand all of these things?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, factual basis recommendation, please.
Yes, ma'am. On November the 8th of 2022, officers with the Clayton County Police Department responded to incident location here in Clayton County regarding a disturbance. Officers made contact with the complainant, Ms. Tiffany Daniel, who advised that her boyfriend, Mr. Wicino Carpenter, removed her property from her bedroom without her permission. The property to which he removed was a mattress. By removing the mattress, he did cause the mattress to be damaged. This all occurred here in Clayton County. State's recommendation to the single offense of criminal trespass is 12 months to serve 2 days. He's be credited with time served. He served 2 days, November the 8th through 10th, 2022. Balance is suspended upon no new violations of Georgia law.
Mr. Lynch.
Judge, that is my understanding. That is what Mr. Carpenter has agreed to. We would ask the court accept the no-low plea and accept the recommendation.
All right, Mr. Carpenter. Yeah, when you're kind of trying to help yourself with evictions, sometimes let's just put it this way. It's easier to make the right decision and take your time before you move in with somebody than to try and fix it after you find out it's a mistake. We clear?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So I'll accept your plea of nolo, 12 months, 2 days, credit for time served, balance suspended as long as you have no new violations of the laws of the state of Georgia. You're free to go, sir.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
You're very welcome.
All right. And then I have Campbell and Taylor.
Your Honor, I have an announcement.
Yes, ma'am.
We're ready to move forward with Honesty Taylor.
All right, Miss Taylor, turn your camera on for me.
And Your Honor, this will be non-negotiated.
Okay.
I'm here. I'm having a delay with my camera for some reason.
Okay.
Um,
There you are. Raise your right hand for me. Do you solemnly swear or affirm any testimony you give in this matter will be true?
yes.
All right, you can put your hand down. All right, Ms. Taylor, you're before the court on State of Georgia versus Honesty. Denise Taylor, 2023 CR 03429. Simple battery, family violence, count 1. Simple battery, count 2. You're represented by MJ Tortorello from the law firm of Lister, Holt, and Dennis. Ms. Tortorello, what is your client plea to the offenses before the court?
Your Honor, my client will be pleading guilty under the First Offender Act for count 1, and my understanding is that count 2 will merge into count 1.
All right, by entering a plea of guilty,
Your Honor,
yes,
he's not eligible for first offender.
Ms. Tortorello, she's not eligible for first offender.
Mr. Brooks, can you explain why? What's the?
He used first offender August 14th, 2012 for a battery charge in Clayton County State Court. Case number 2011 CR 04937.
Okay. Ms. Taylor, would you like to go forward with a NOLO?
And what is the NOLO?
We could, Your Honor, I could break out with her again so we can
Yes,
have
please.
a conversation.
All right, so,
I'll just call her.
okay, that's fine. Ms. Taylor, just mute your device, okay?
Your Honor, I have an announcement on behalf of Miss Honesty Taylor.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, she's pleading not guilty and waiving formal arraignment.
All right, so we'll put her on the next available trial calendar.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. Just a suggestion, Ms. Taylor seems to have had more than one of these incidents that involve violence. Therapy might be appropriate. All right, you're free to go, ma'am. If you have bond conditions, please make sure you adhere to the bond conditions. If you violate them, you could be rearrested, you could be charged with felonies or additional misdemeanors, and you could also be in jail until such time as your case is resolved. So please remember that if you don't have a copy of your bond conditions, come to the courthouse and get a copy on the first floor in the state court clerk's office. All right.
All right.
this case number? What's the last name of the client? Taylor?
Debbie.
Taylor, T-R-R.
No, Tracy. C-A-R-C-Y.
Fine, which is supposed to be, because it's be an arraignment. So prior like this and then Tracy. Victor Carter's coming.
You got a case number?
Yeah.
Case number would probably be easier. Not talking.
In state or superior court?
State. This is 302, right? No, this is 304's. Oh, 302 is, yes, two doors down that way, right? What is that? Is that Garrett? Yes. Yes, Garrett, yeah. Go down, be on your left side. Jones Parker. Jones Parker is 305. Okay. Yeah. 302 is 2 doors.
You're welcome. So I'm going with
OCB is Miss Campbell, that's the thing. And kind of waiting. Waiting for a response. I was seeing right next to that. Uh-oh. Yeah, maybe. I'll hold down the fort. Unless you want me to go find him and you want to hold down the fort. Judge, are you just waiting on us?
Yep.
Judge, I believe the only thing we have left on the out to bond calendar is Miss Campbell. Is that?
Yep.
Miss Campbell, I think, is considering the offer, and I've also asked Mr. Brooks to reconsider our negotiations, which I don't know whether he would do, but in the interest of expediency, did you want to go ahead and call the jail calendar?
Yep.
Thank you, Judge. Thanks, for 1 minute. Oh, you can come in and out of here as much as you want.
All right, the jail calendar for April 21st, 2026 at 10 a.m. is Brenda Joyce Chambers.
Judge, I believe that is going to be a negotiated plea, although MJ spoke to Ms. Chambers. So if we could just hold on that, but I think we're going to get that resolved.
Okay. Next is Kyle D. Ellis.
Judge, that's going to be a negotiated plea.
Jeremiah Leandre Jones.
That's MJ's case, but I believe it's going to be a negotiated plea as well.
Okay.
She just stepped out to assist another
That's
attorney.
fine.
She'll be right back.
Aisha Cleola Jordan has 2 cases.
If we could hold for that announcement, Judge, that's MJ spoke to her as well. I think we're getting that resolved as well.
Joshua Lee Mitchell.
That's going to be a negotiated plea.
Kenneth Kushi Pack.
That is going to be a negotiated plea.
Mr. Redden has already entered a plea of not guilty and waived arraignment.
Where's going to be Jack?
Ronnie Edward Revere.
Judge, I believe Mr. Revere has posted a bond again. I do hope that he makes. I know we've had some issues getting in contact with him in the past, but I don't believe he's in custody at this point. Yeah, I don't have a
Miss Brenda.
Yes, Judge. He is out to bond and he's been placed on an arraignment calendar.
Okay. What's he got pending? Like, does he have more than 1 case before me?
Let me check on that.
Thank you.
I don't believe so.
I think it's just the DUI, Judge. The only reason I made that comment is that I know that he
came up recently on something, and I didn't know if it was another jail calendar or what. And Saunders is a petition.
Yes, Your Honor. We're stipulating to the facts and moving forward non-negotiated.
Okay. All right, I'm ready with whatever. We can do Saunders first if you want to, and that way Mr. Carmichael can go on about his day. I'm sure he has other stuff to do.
Yes, Your Honor.
Good morning, Your Honor. It's Mr. Austin. I'll be filling in for Mr.
Oh,
Carmichael.
okay, Mr. Austin. All right, is this Mr. Saunders?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, 1 second. All right, Mr. Saunders, you're before the court on revocation for probation, case 2019. I'm sorry, 2019 CR 08648. You were before this court for driving under the influence, failure to yield the right of way when turning left on the 7th day of November 2022. You were sentenced to 12 months on probation. Your case, you have 4 months and 8 days remaining. Your case was tolled because we lost track of you and you failed to report on January 16th of 2023, May 11th, May 16th, May 18th, May 24th, all of 2023. You also failed to attend a scheduled revocation hearing on June 26th of 2023. You last reported on April 10th of 2023. You failed to complete drug and alcohol evaluation. You failed to complete your to comply with drug screens. You failed to complete a risk reduction course. You failed to pay your $792 in arrears. You're represented by the law firm of Lister, Holt, and Dennis. Ms. Tortorello is with you. Ms. Tortorello, what's going on?
Yes, Your Honor. So, sorry. So when my client originally pled to this matter, he was on a bench warrant and he went ahead and did it pro se. He wasn't aware of or understood the requirements of his probation. He was also out of state, so he lived in Washington, D.C., and at the time he was actually doing phone reports. He wasn't doing mail-in reports. So sometimes he would get phone calls while he was at work. He would miss those. He's done the substance abuse evaluation, and he has a certificate of completion to ready and able to present to probation. This is his first violation, Your Honor.
Because we couldn't find him.
Yes, Your Honor. But he's now living in Austell, Georgia. He's living in the state, and he really wants to go back to probation. He has a job at Payco, so he wants to go ahead and pay the fines that he owes the court, this jurisdiction, willing and able to comply with the drug screens. And he's after speaking with me, he understands what is actually required of him, and that he will be reporting in person since he lives in Georgia now.
Okay, so when we say stuff, let's be real careful what we say. When you say this is his first hearing, well, it's not for lack of trying. He didn't show up for the first scheduled hearing that we set. So this wouldn't have been his first hearing, but he just didn't show up. We didn't know where he was. He didn't show up for all his reports. We had to toll the statute or toll his probation from running because he didn't show up. So yeah, technically this is his first hearing. Theoretically, it probably wouldn't have been. All right, Mr. Austin?
Recommendation is 90 days to serve and case be closed, Your Honor.
That sounds fair. Miss Tortorello?
I always report this. Like I said, the reason why I was unable to.
Go ahead. He wants to speak to Your Honor.
Sure.
Go ahead.
Good afternoon or morning, Your Honor.
Good morning.
When I was here in the state of Georgia, I appeared to my first court hearing, and I was appointed to, and that was in 2000. That wasn't 2023. That was like 2019 when I appeared the first time, and I was given a public defender. Then I was going to plead nolo, but when she took me towards the back, she advised me to plead not guilty. And then I was set another court date, and I came back to you again. This is right when COVID hit. And I was told then that if my attorney you took me and a group of other people towards the back, and I was told along with the other people that if we were not contacted by our attorney by phone or by email, if we got a letter in the mail or some sort like that, or a letter from our bails people, that we were not like to disregard that letter if we did not hear anything from our attorney. And I never heard anything from our attorney. And then I went to the license hearing. I came to that court. So I've actually been in front of you twice before I moved. And then once I moved, it was years later after I was contacted by my bails, the bails bondsman who contacted me stating that I had missed the court date, which I was unaware of because I had, like you said, I had moved. So then I actually spoke with you on a Zoom hearing, and that's when I pled NOLO. And then when I pled that NOLO, you gave me probation. So I complied somewhat to the probation. Yes, no, ma'am, I did not complete everything on the terms that you had asked me for. And then I got another letter in the mail stating that I had to come to court, but I was assuming, and that was my bad for assuming, my problem. I assumed that I was going to be another Zoom meeting, and I actually called you that same day of court that morning, and you told me that I had to appear in person, but I was living in the state of Washington, D.C., so that was almost pretty much impossible for me to show up that same day from that point. And then here I am today now, after that, all that. So that's all I wanted to say.
Okay.
And I'm just asking that if I could be placed back on probation. I'm here now. I can comply with everything. I'm here. I'm working. I'm able to appear in person if weekly, if possible, if need be, or whatever. And I can also do any drug screening, anything like that.
Mr. Saunders.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
I don't just give people probation, phone and mail report probation. They have to ask for it. And it has to be a circumstance where, hey, you living in another state. I'm giving you the opportunity to continue your life wherever it is you're living, that you have a job, just as long as you comply with the requirements. So that's the deal we make. If I'm willing to do, the extra and allow you to be outside the jurisdiction to comply from wherever you are. I will accept whatever court programs they have there. I don't know what their court programs are, but if you get the information from them and you get your programs through them, I'm fine with that. You just submit the information. You report when you're supposed to report. And I have said it almost since I took the bench. If phone and mail report essentially is you get 12 envelopes, stamp them, put the address on them, get the form, get 12 copies of the form, and just send in the form every time it's necessary. There is no phone report because the probation officers have too many people that they're supervising for them to be answering the phone all the time. But if they get all the information they need in the mail, if they say go take a test, then you should have already identified the closest place to your job or your home so that if you need a test, you can go get the test. I am not going to make an excuse for you not doing what we agreed. Also, I'm not going to burden probation because if you couldn't do it there, why should I assume that you're going to be any better here? So, yeah, no. Anything else, Ms. Tortorella?
Your Honor, we're asking for 60 days if possible, Your Honor.
Complied with nothing I asked him to do, now wants favor. Yeah, 90 days.
Thank you, Your Honor.
I'll give him credit since his lockup.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Your Honor, his lockup date is 4/16.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm.
I'm gonna finish OTD.
Your Honor, we do at this point have a negotiated plea for Ms. Campbell from the out to bond arraignment. If you wanted to go ahead and do that, or
Yeah, let me just finish typing this up.
thank you. Yeah. Have we spoken to the rest of the females? I just said that that's MJ's and it's probably a resolution, but. Yeah.
That's me.
Yeah. Get the paperwork for that one. We're gonna do her and then we're gonna do him. I'm sorry. Yeah. Yeah. Not us. OTB. We're good. So there's nobody else we need to talk to.
I'm gonna talk to Jones or if they give me the paper.
Oh, wait, Jones?
Her name is Aisha Jones.
Aisha.
Or is it Jordan?
Jordan.
Sorry. Yeah.
They know we're holding on that paperwork, right?
All right, and this is Carpenter?
Miss Campbell, Sylvia Campbell.
Campbell,
Miss
I'm sorry.
Come forward.
Come on up, ma'am. Miss Campbell, raise your right hand for me. You solemnly swear or affirm any testimony you give in this matter will be true.
Yes, ma'am.
You got to speak up for me.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, you can put your hand down. So this is before the court, case 2026 CR 02789, Sylvia Ann Campbell, reckless conduct, pedestrian on the right of way and pedestrian something else. What is that second charge, Mr.?
Pedestrian under the influence or.
Okay. All right. Miss Campbell, I'm sorry, Mr. Lynch, what is your client plea to the offenses before the court?
Judge, she's going to enter a no contest plea to count 2, count 1, and count 3 would be null pros pursuant to the agreement, is my understanding.
All right, my internal plea of no load to count 2, count 1, and 3 will be null pros. You give up the right to have a trial by jury or judge. You give up the right to have the state prove your guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. You give up the right to have the presumption of innocence in your favor. You give up the right to confront witnesses, subpoena witnesses, present testimony and evidence on your behalf, to not incriminate yourself. And if you're not a United States citizen, a plea of guilty or no contest could negatively impact your immigration status. Do you understand all of these things, ma'am?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, factual basis recommendation, please.
Yes, ma'am. On January 28th of 2025, officers with the Clayton County Police Department were on general patrol when they were alerted to a pedestrian in the roadway. Officers did identify Miss Sylvia Campbell. She was walking in the roadway and dancing in the roadway while intoxicated. She was walking on and alongside Terra Boulevard, which is a busy and hazardous roadway. Additionally, she did not utilize any crosswalks or remain in any pedestrian areas that were designated. This all occurred here in Clayton County. The state's recommendation is to count 2, 12 months probation. She's to get a drug and alcohol evaluation based on her history. She's to complete, submit to random testing and partake in no drugs and alcohol during the course of probation. Additionally, there's a $200 fine. Counts 1 and count 3 are being null pressed.
All right. So what I got was a no-load plea, 12 months probation, substance abuse evaluation, any treatment that is required. She's to have no alcohol or illicit drugs during the course of her probation. And she's going subject to random screens for alcohol and drugs and $200 fine.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Mr. Lynch?
Judge, that was my understanding. I am going to ask the court to consider allowing her probation to terminate after 6 months, so long as she completes all the conditions and does not test positive for alcohol or illicit drugs. Ms. Campbell does take responsibility for her actions on that day, Judge. You know, she did not conduct herself the way she should have. However, she did not make the choice to drive on that day.
Yeah, I'm not persuaded by that argument,
And
Mr. Lynch, and here's the reason why. Because I have a case recently where a person was hit 3 times on Terra Boulevard by 3 different cars and killed. And so like that, the drivers who were traumatized by hitting somebody who was in the roadway that they could not avoid. So even if you're not driving a car, it doesn't mean you can't do damage to somebody. Miss,
that is understood.
I would prefer to see that she goes to a community support meeting. I don't care about the money. I would prefer a community support meeting.
And I understand that, Judge. The thing is, Miss Campbell has a promising job prospect in as an assistant, a nursing assistant that she's really trying to get, which is one of the main.
And I don't have a problem with that. But what I'm trying to say is, if I don't want her, if she really can't control herself to the extent that she's about to have herself killed on Terra Boulevard, because she's drunk in the roadway, and I would rather see her go to community support meetings as opposed to paying a fine, because I'm trying to do long-term change as opposed to her, you know, like nursing is a lot. That's stressful. I don't want her, you know, having the urge to drink on the job or making some decision that just doesn't make sense.
And I understand that, Judge. My understanding, and I'll let her speak to this, but I believe her days of drinking are behind her.
This is a 2026 case. When did this happen?
This is January 2025, Judge, and I believe that's partially due to this, but also partially due to some health reasons. Miss Campbell, it seems Miss Campbell wants to make a statement. Is that right? May Miss Campbell address the court?
Yes, I would love it.
Thank you.
You guys speaking of this.
I was living at the In-Town Suite Lodge that's on Tar Boulevard. I went to the Sports Cafe when I found out they was putting my sister on hospice for pancreatic cancer. She died in July. I found all this out at that time. I left my truck there and I walked back to the room. I did not cross at the crosswalk because there's not no sidewalks on that side. I walked all the way up to the sidewalk end and I got ready to cross over. I wasn't in the road dancing. That's why I made the choice to leave the truck there. That's why I didn't drive. I said, I just stayed right down the road. I let me walk there. And I was walking to the end, that live-in lodge that's on Tar Boulevard. And then before they doing that construction now, there's no sidewalks. That sidewalks end right there by that Jamaican place. And that's what I walked to. And that's why I was crossing that. I would not be in the road dancing. I wouldn't be in it like none of that. I'm 50 years old. I was 49 then. I have been diagnosed with congestive heart failure since then. It's been a lot going on. I would not just sit up here and put my life in danger. I have 4 kids and I have a granddaughter. That was just hurt. My sister, that was just a lot of stuff going on, and being just living there because I never lived in no hotel room with my kids.
Okay, Miss Campbell. So I think a little bit differently than some people. And so you just outlined to me the classic reason somebody would need therapy. You lost your sister to a traumatic cancer. You came out of a situation where you and your children were in a living situation that was not preferable. You are now picking yourself back up. You've got a job. You're getting yourself back together. But ma'am, people, I don't know what it is about therapy that scares people so, because I've been in it. I've done it. It's no big deal. But what happens is people say, oh, you want to put me in therapy? You want me to talk to somebody? Oh, no, I'm not crazy. But I'm not calling you crazy. I am saying you were grief stricken. I am saying you had some things going on in your life that were not optimal. I am saying you're a mama with 4 kids. And as a mama with 2 kids, I know how stressful that can be. And I got, you know, a partner who's helping me every single day. So I'm just saying that sometimes we act out in ways that we do, or we get to a point where, you know, we're seeking help in ways that we that seems like the only way. I'm suggesting talking to somebody, and you're acting like I'm putting you in jail.
No, ma'am. I went and talked to somebody last year. I went over there and got an alcohol and drug evaluation. I went and talked to somebody, and I have to go there every couple of months for another appointment. I do that now.
Well, what I was suggesting is, if you would listen closely, instead of the $200 fine, if you're already talking to somebody, as long as you show proof that you are talking to somebody, I would suspend the fine, because I would rather have you talk to somebody and not be in this situation again than to have you trying to deal with all of this. If you're already talking to somebody, all I was going to say was just submit the information to probation and you don't have to pay the fine. Now, if you would rather pay the fine of $298, I'm fine with that.
No, I mean,
because you're fighting it like that's the problem. Like you would rather pay the fine.
No, ma'am. The only thing that I'm fighting is the year-long probation. I know I have congestive heart failure. I know that. I know I don't drink.
Okay, well, all right. That's so you're thinking you can do this within 6 months, is what you're saying?
Yes, ma'am.
Your Honor, and just to give court context, we made that recommendation based on criminal history. This Miss Campbell had 5 prior DUIs, and that's where the recommendation came from.
And that was something at Athens. I did not do nothing up here, and I trying to make a change. I paid for all my sentences. I paid for all my probations. I did everything that I did for every one of those DUIs. It's like everything. Since I moved up here, it was nothing. And I said I was going to make a smart decision from walking from the sports cafe to the live-in lodge to not drive. And I still got locked up trying to cross the street to get to the motel. That's the only thing that I tell you. I know I was drunk. I know that part.
I think the issue
the linchpin for us, Your Honor, is that we just
drinking.
The testing. No drugs and alcohol and random testing.
Yeah. Miss Campbell, it's the drinking for me. Like the 5 previous DUIs gives me concern, but ma'am, stop talking. Stop talking. Take a deep breath. Take a deep breath, because you are so busy. It's my grandmother used to call it, like the older people used to say, finning and proving. You are so busy finning and proving, defending yourself and trying to prove something that you're not listening. And what I want you to do is listen. Because sometimes in this job, I have the opportunity to help people make changes in their life for the better. I get that you chose not to drive, but what scares me is you didn't choose not to drink. You know your history. But instead of choosing not to drink, you thought I applaud you not driving and putting somebody's life in danger, but you thought it was okay not to drink because you have yet to acknowledge that you got a problem with alcohol.
The reason why I drunk that day.
No, not that day, ma'am. You got 5 previous DUIs. I don't want to talk about that day. I'm talking about holistically, overall, you have a problem with alcohol because you keep ending up before a court for something related to alcohol. So what I'm saying to you is you keep trying to prove something about that particular day because it seems to you that you're something tied up with you being considered an alcoholic is so horrible to your sense of self that you got to keep rejecting it. What I'm telling you is you're an alcoholic. Based on everything I know about your history, you're an alcoholic. And so you keep fighting that designation. Oh, I can't be an alcoholic. Oh no, oh no. And what I'm trying to tell you is I'm trying to give you the opportunity to go to counseling and to stay in counseling and community support. And you're fighting that. Listen, if it's about the other stuff, you still gonna have to keep testing. I don't know what the issue is. It's not like I'm making you run a marathon. I'm making you come to a meeting and test for alcohol or illicit drugs. And you're acting like I'm putting you in jail, and I'm really not understanding.
No, ma'am. I'm the only one. I have to run for my kids. I work 12 hours at night. I get off in the morning, I take my daughter to work. She has to be there about 10:30, sometime 11. I'm just saying, with my time and my thing, my mama's sick, I drive back and forth to Athens. Like, I have just a lot on my plate. And I know drinking, I identified myself as being an alcoholic. That's why I don't drink. It's not just because of the congested heart failure, but that put another thing on it because the doctor told me I could die early from that. So I had to make some better choices. Me going to get that alcohol and drug evaluation, I had to do that for myself because I know my whole family, that's the only thing we do. Me moving up here was a change, different change for me. I was not drinking like that. When I heard the news with my sister, it triggered something. And that's what I got mad about. That's why I went into, it's right up the street from the library that's on,
I got
it's a
you.
lot of,
Here's what I'm willing to do. Community support meetings once a week. You can do them on video. You can do them in person. I don't care. As long as you show proof. The $200 fine, I'll suspend that in lieu of the community support meetings, because that is more important to me than you paying the fine. I do still want you to test for alcohol or illicit drugs. I'm open to that's what I'm willing to do. So 12 months, probation, a substance abuse evaluation, any treatment that may be ordered. You're subject to, no alcohol or illicit drugs. You're subject to random screens for alcohol and illicit drugs. And in lieu of the $200 fine, you'll do one community support meeting per week for the cessation of alcohol or illicit drugs.
Your Honor, just to be on the record, the state has no objection to the court suspending probation fees if the court is inclined.
I'll suspend the probation fees.
Thank you, Mr. Brooks. We would ask for that.
That's fine. Thank you, sir. All right, so Ms. Campbell, I'm going to ask you to, when you step out of the courtroom, you're going to go to the next courtroom over to your right, courtroom 305. In that first set of double doors will be the probation expert, Ms. James. She's going to get you signed up for probation. The quickest way to get rearrested and to ruin your probation is to not report for probation. You have to report as directed. But once you report, if you're having any difficulties, please discuss that with your probation officers. If they believe that you need a change, they will come to me and I will discuss it. And we'll see if there's a modification that needs to be made, but you do have to report as directed. All right, anything else at this time?
Nothing further, Judge.
All right, thank you. To head to probation.
What? This doesn't prevent you from going.
All right, what's the next case? That concludes the arraignment calendar.
Mr. Ellis?
Let's roll through the jail calendar.
We're gonna bring out Mr. Ellis for negotiated plea. This is the mic, so.
Mr. Ellis, raise your right hand for me. Do you solemnly swear or affirm any testimony you give in this matter will be true?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, so you're before the court on State of Georgia versus Kyle D. Ellis, 2026 CR 04560 for criminal trespass. You're represented by the law firm of Lister, Holt, and Dennis. Mr. Owen Lynch is with you at the podium. Mr. Lynch, what is your client plea to the offense before the court of criminal trespass?
No contest, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Ellis, by entering a plea of nolo, you give up the right to have a trial by jury or judge. You give up the right to have the state prove your guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. You give up the right to have the presumption of innocence in your favor. You give up the right to confront witnesses, subpoena witnesses, present testimony and evidence on your behalf, to not incriminate yourself, And if you are not a United States citizen, a plea of guilty or no contest could negatively impact your immigration status. Do you understand all of these things?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, factual basis recommendation, please.
Your Honor. On April 8th, 2026, at approximately 8:30 a.m., officers who were patrolling the airport MARTA station located at 1 Atlanta Airport, Atlanta, Georgia, 30320 in Clayton County. They observed the defendant standing in between the rail cars, just about to urinate. The officer approached the defendant and asked him to get off the train, and then detained him and escorted him to the staff room. The officer conducted a GCIC NCIC check of the defendant and found that there was an active MARTA suspension that was issued on February 18th, 2026, and which was effective on March 20th, 2026, with a resumed writing date of May 18th, 2026. This incident occurred on April 8th, 2026. As to count one, the state is recommending 12 months to serve 10 days. Credit for the time served. The balance is suspended, but the defendant is not to return to the incident location of the airport MARTA station, located at 1 Atlanta Airport, Atlanta, Georgia, 30320. And the defendant is to have no new violations of the law.
All right, Mr. Lynch.
Judge, we do accept the recommendation from the state. We are going to ask the court. I just wanted to maybe get clarification, because from reading the report, it did indicate that the MARTA suspension would end, I believe, in June. Is the state asking that he be suspended from that MARTA station for the remainder of the sentence, or just that he comply with the MARTA suspension?
Well, and I don't know if I put this, but I meant to say unless ticketed. I'm asking that he doesn't return there for the rest of the sentence unless properly ticketed. But also in addition to continue to comply with that MARTA suspension.
Okay, so but I guess I would request a sentence if this would be that he not return to the airport without a ticket to travel, and that he comply with the MARTA suspension. But I mean, if the court is inclined to give him the whole year of the MARTA suspension, we'll accept that. I know that he does need MARTA. Whenever his suspension is over, he would like to resume using MARTA.
Okay, well, he can do MARTA except for the airport. So I'll accept your NOLO plea, Mr. Ellis, 12 months to serve 10 days, credit for time served. The balance will be suspended as long as you do not go back to Hartsfield Jackson Atlanta International Airport MARTA station at 1 Atlanta Airport. Is that what it is? In Clayton County, Georgia. You also will adhere to the MARTA suspension for all of MARTA, which will end in May of 2026. After that, you cannot return to the airport MARTA station until 12 months has passed. You understand?
Yes, ma'am.
So you can ride the rest of MARTA after May, but do not come back.
June, Judge.
You can ride the rest of MARTA after June, but do not come back to the airport MARTA station unless you have a ticket for travel on that day. Okay?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, Judge.
All right. Thank you. Next.
Yes, ma'am.
We have Chambers, Jones, Jordan, Mitchell, and Pack.
If we could do Mr. Pack now.
All right, Mr. Pack, raise your right hand for me. You solemnly swear or affirm any testimony you give in this matter will be true.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Pack, you can put your hand down. You're before the court on State of Georgia versus Kenneth Pack. 2026 CR 04533 for criminal trespass. Mr. Pack, you're represented by attorney Owen Lynch with the law firm of Lister, Holt and Dennis. Mr. Lynch, Mr. Pack is back. What is he pleading to the offense of criminal trespass?
Guilty, Judge.
All right, by entering a plea of guilty, Mr. Pack, you give up the right to have a trial by jury or judge. You give up the right to have the state prove your guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. You give up the right to have the presumption of innocence in your favor. You give up the right to confront witnesses, subpoena witnesses, present testimony and evidence on your behalf, to not incriminate yourself. And if you're not a United States citizen, a plea of guilty or no contest could negatively impact your immigration status. Do you understand all of these things?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, factual basis recommendation.
Yes, Your Honor.
We'll stipulate, Judge. I mean, this is an airport trespass.
It's the airport again? Yeah.
Yes.
All right. I'll accept the stipulation. The recommendation, please.
As to count one, the state is recommending 12 months to serve 60 days. The balance or credit for the time that's been served, the balance will suspend as long as the defendant does not return to the airport location.
Please don't. I'm not going back to the airport. Okay.
All right. So, Mr. Pack, I'm going to accept your plea of guilty. I'll sentence you to 12 months to serve 60 days. Credit for time served. Balance will be suspended as long as you do not go back to Hartsfield-Jackson Atlanta International Airport without a ticket for travel on that day. Mr.
So
Pack.
I got time served, Your Honor?
Yes, but do not go back to the airport, Mr. Pack. You keep
I
going
won't
back.
go back to the airport. I just told my public defender, Mr. Lynch, I won't go back to the airport. If you see me in here, it definitely won't be for the airport.
Well, let's not see you in here, Mr. Pack. Can we do
Yes, Your
that?
Honor. But thanks for the time served.
All right, Mr. Pack. Let's not see you in here. You can go back with the sheriff's office. All right. Next.
Yes, Your Honor.
Bless his heart. He said, if you see me in here, it won't be for the airport. Woo.
Judge, we can do Mr. Joshua Mitchell.
All right, that's fine.
How y'all doing? Hey, how you doing, bro?
I'm doing great.
How you doing?
Take a step towards me, Mr. Mitchell.
Okay, yes, sir.
No,
Which
no,
way?
Right. So this is Mr. Chambers, you said?
No, this is Joshua Lee Mitchell, Judge.
Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Mitchell. All right, Mr. Mitchell, raise your right hand for me.
Yes, ma'am.
You solemnly swear or affirm any testimony you give in this matter will be true.
Yes, I swear. Yes, yes, ma'am.
All right, you can put your hand down, sir. So, Mr. Mitchell, you're before the court for State of Georgia versus Joshua Lee Mitchell, 2026 CR 04685, disorderly conduct. State disorderly conduct, correct, Mr. Lynch?
Yes, Judge, that is what he has been accused of.
All right. What is your client pleading to the offense?
Judge, he will plead no contest, and Judge, we will stipulate to a factual basis if the court would accept it.
I kind of want to hear this one.
I don't think you
Yes,
do.
Your Honor. Are you ready for it?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. On March 8th, 2026, officers who were at the incident location at the Southern Regional Medical Center was flagged down by a security guard who advised that there was a male in the waiting room that had begun to masturbate in front of others. Upon his arrival, he was directed by the security guard to make contact with the defendant. And the security guard advised that he was aware of what was going on when he saw the defendant's hands up under blankets that was covering him up, moving up and down in an up and down motion. And then once he was asked to remove the blankets from his lap, officers noticed an odor coming from the blankets and identified the smell of semen and a wet spot where the blankets covered his groin area. The defendant advised that he did not do anything, but the security staff would, my apologies. But another witness advised that she saw the defendant masturbate in front of her. The defendant was then arrested for public indecency. As to count 1, the state is recommending 12 months to serve 30 days. Credit for the time served. The balance will be suspended as long as the defendant does not return to the Southern Regional Medical Center, and that's located at, Your Honor, 11 Upper Riverdale Road, Riverdale, Georgia, 30274. And the defendant is to stay away from the victim, Brittany Mapp. Mapp is M-A-P-P.
Mr. Lynch?
Judge, this incident took place at Southern Regional Medical Center. My client does have several mental health conditions that he is treated for, and he has been medicated for. I have gone over with him the basis of the charge. I believe that he understands his rights. Judge, I am asking the court accept the recommendation from the state.
All right. Is he being treated?
Judge, we can't hear you. If you could,
I'm sorry. Is he being treated by somebody?
My understanding is he's currently taking medication, Judge. I'm not sure what active, like.
He doesn't have like a graded ACT team or anything that follows him?
I'm receiving treatment at Battle Creek Clinic of Nature to get my medication, to do right, to put myself back on track, and to find me a job someday, and to do the right thing for you in Georgia, in Columbus, Georgia. I'm a righteous person.
All right. So, Mr. Mitchell, I'm gonna need you to keep personal things personal, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Nobody needs to know your personal private business that has to do with anything below the waist.
Yes, ma'am. I hear you. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so I'm trying to be a little bit delicate for you. All right, so Mr. Mitchell, I'm going to accept your plea of nolo. I'll sentence you to 12 months to serve 30 days, credit for time served. The balance will be suspended as long as you do not go back to Southern Regional Medical Center in Clayton County, Georgia, and that you have no contact with Brittany Mapp, M-A-P-P. All right, sir, please stay on your medication, okay?
Okay.
All right, thank you. You can go back with the sheriff's office.
How much time I have?
You can go at this time, sir.
Oh, I leave today?
Yeah, it's for credit for time served.
Okay, I leave today. All right, thank you.
You're welcome. All right, next.
Yeah.
Yes, that's a female.
All right, who's this?
This is Miss Brenda Chambers, Your Honor.
Miss Chambers? Miss Brenda, raise your right hand for me, please. You solemnly swear or affirm any testimony you give in this matter will be true.
Yes, ma'am, I do.
Oh, all right, you can put your hand down. Miss Brenda Joyce Chambers, you're before the court on case 2026 CR 04581 for criminal trespass, count 1, and theft of lost or mislaid property, count 2. Miss Tortorello is your attorney. Miss Tortorello, what is your client plea to the offenses before the court?
Yes, Your Honor, that will be a nolo plea on both counts.
All right. Ms. Chambers, by entering a plea of nolo to counts 1 and 2, you give up the right to have a trial by jury or judge. You give up the right to have the state prove your guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. You give up the right to have the presumption of innocence in your favor. You give up the right to confront witnesses, subpoena witnesses, present testimony and evidence on your behalf, not incriminate yourself or present any testimony or evidence against yourself. And if you are not a United States citizen, a plea of guilty or no contest could negatively impact your immigration status. Do you understand all of these things, Ms. Chambers?
Understand.
All right, factual basis recommendation, please.
Yes, Your Honor. On March 24th, 2026, officers who were working at the Atlanta airport was flagged down by a passenger who complained of the defendant panhandling, walking around, asking people for money. The officer approached the woman and immediately recognized her as the defendant, who has a current criminal trespass warning from that location that was issued on November 13, 2025. The officer made the decision to arrest the defendant and transported her to the precinct for processing. When they arrived to the precinct, the officers searched her bag, incident to arrest, and found a gray Apple iPad with the owner's information listed as Christopher Hodges. The officer asked the defendant about the iPad and she stated that it was hers. But when the officer asked about the contents on the iPad, she continued to claim the ownership. Officers contacted the listed owner of the iPad by phone and had him come to the precinct to identify the stolen property. The victim arrived by the precinct, and he stated that he was an airport employee and that while he was working earlier in that day, he left his black bag sitting in the area and left to go work. Once he returned, the bag was missing, and he stated that the bag contained a gray Apple iPad with the white water bottle inside. The defendant observed the bags that were in the defendant's possession and identified one of the bags as his. And once the officers looked inside of the bag, the officer observed a white water bottle. The victim also identified the iPad that was in the defendant's possession as his. As to count one, the state is recommending 12 months to serve 30 days. Credit for the time served. The balance will be suspended as long as the defendant does not return to the Atlanta airport, the Atlanta Hartsfield Airport, and as long as the defendant stays away from the victim, Christopher Hodges. As to count two, the state is recommending 12 months to serve 30 days. Credit for the time served. The balance will suspend, and that is to be run concurrently with count
All right. Ms. Tortorella.
Excuse me, Your Honor, only that you accept the plea as negotiated.
All right, Ms. Chambers, check with the chaplain as you are leaving jail to see if there's some help that they can give you so that you can stay off the street and out of Hartsfield Jackson Atlanta International Airport, ma'am. That's not a place where you want to be because they're arresting people and they'll send you right back here. So please check with the chaplain's office to see if there's a transitional housing or some kind of help in the temporary that can help you kind of get yourself back together, okay?
Yes,
So
ma'am.
this is, I'm going to accept your plea of nolo to counts 1 and 2, and you'll serve on count 1, 12 months to serve 30 days, credit for time served, balance suspended as long as you do not go back to Hartsfield Jackson Atlanta International Airport for the remainder of the 12 months. You also will have no contact with Christopher Hodges. Count 2 will run concurrent with count 1, 12 months to serve 30 days. Credit for time served, balance will be suspended. All right, Ms. Chambers, like I said, please don't go back to the airport. Try and talk to one of the chaplains and see if there's any information they can give you about programs available that might help you. Salvation Army, Hearts to Nourish Hope, something to get you off the street, okay?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
All right,
Thank
you can go back with the sheriff's office. All right, Jones and Jordan.
If you bring Jeremiah Jones, please.
All right, raise your right hand for me, sir. You solemnly swear or affirm any testimony you give in this matter will be true.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, you can put your hand down. All right, Mr. Jones, you're before the court on State of Georgia versus, Jeremiah Leandre Jones, 2026 CR 04396 for criminal trespass. Ms. Tortorella, what is your client plead to the offense?
Yes, Your Honor, that'll be a nolo plea.
By entering a plea of nolo, you give up the right to have a trial by jury or judge. You give up the right to have the state prove your guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. You give up the right to have the presumption of innocence in your favor. You give up the right to confront witnesses, subpoena witnesses, present testimony and evidence on your behalf, to not incriminate yourself. And if you are not a United States citizen, a plea of guilty or no contest could negatively impact your immigration status. Do you understand all of these things, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Factual basis recommendation, please.
Yes, Your Honor. On March 24th, 2026, officers, at approximately 11:30 p.m., officers were at the McDonald's located at 6670 Tara Boulevard, regarding a male who was given a criminal trespass warning that had returned to the location. Upon officers' arrival, officers met with the complainant, who advised that the defendant had came onto the property and had been harassing customers in their vehicles as they await. The complainant showed a video recording of the defendant dressed in or the defendant walking up to vehicles and talking to drivers, and that was at the timestamp of 11:21 p.m. Shortly thereafter, the officer or the complainant saw the defendant walking northbound towards the incident location and pointed out the defendant as the person that was on property earlier that day. She also stated that the defendant returns to the property about every 30 minutes. Officers, once the defendant made it onto the property of 6670 Tar Boulevard, officers approached that defendant, asked for his identification, which he provided, and radio confirmed that the defendant was given a criminal trespass warning from that location on March 24th, 2026, earlier that day. And because the defendant was on property at that time, the officer made the decision to arrest the defendant for criminal trespass. As to count one, the state is recommending 12 months to serve 30 days, credit for the time served. The balance for suspend as long as the defendant does not return to the McDonald's located at 6670 Tar Boulevard, Jonesboro, Georgia, 30236 in Clayton County, and as long as the defendant has no new violations of law.
Ms. Tortorella?
Yes, Your Honor, only that you accept the plea as negotiated.
All right. Mr. Jones, don't go back to that McDonald's, okay, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. I'm going to send you to 12 months to serve 30 days credit for time served. Balance will be suspended as long as you do not go back to the McDonald's at 6670 Tara Boulevard, Jonesboro, Georgia, Clayton County. All right?
Yes,
all right. Take care, sir. And don't go back there.
I should, Jones, please. Yeah.
Jordan.
I'm sorry, Jordan. Thank you.
Raise your right hand, ma'am. You solemnly swear or affirm any testimony you give in this matter will be true.
Yes.
All right. You can put your hand down. You're before the court, Ms. Jordan, on two cases. First case is State of Georgia versus Aisha Cleola Jordan, 2026 CR 01765 for criminal trespass. You're represented by Attorney Tortorella with the law firm of Lister Holton Dennis. Ms. Tortorella, what is your client plead to the offense before the court on this case?
Yes, Your Honor, for counts count 3 obstruction, hindering emergency.
You have to speak up a little bit for me.
Sorry. For the obstruction, hindering emergency telephone call, that's a no-low plea. And for the criminal trespass, it's count 4. That will be a no-low plea. My
Hold
understanding.
on, no. I was talking about the criminal trespass on the first case.
Oh, the first case. Your Honor, we will, I believe we sent you an appointment order for that one. That would be a no-low plea.
Okay. So, 2026 CR 01765, and I've already signed the appointment order. Criminal trespass, that'll be a no-low. On the case 2026 CR 04580, theft by taking, count 1, unlawful conduct 911, count 2, obstructing the telephone call, count 3, and criminal trespass count 4. What is your client plea to those offenses?
Yes, Your Honor. For counts 1 and 2, my understanding that will be a no pros. And counts 3 and 4, that would be no-low pleas, Your Honor.
All right, by entering a plea of no-low on the first case ending in 01765 for criminal trespass, Ms. Jordan, by entering a plea of no-low to counts 3 and 4 on the case ending 04580, counts 1 and 2 will be no pros. You give up the right to have a trial by jury or judge. You give up the right to have the state prove your guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. You give up the right to have the presumption of innocence in your favor. You give up the right to confront witnesses, subpoena witnesses, present testimony and evidence on your behalf, to not incriminate yourself or present any testimony or evidence against yourself. And if you are not a United States citizen, a plea of guilty or no contest could negatively impact your immigration status. Do you understand all of these things?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, factual basis and recommendation, please.
Your Honor, on September 16, 2025, officers were dispatched to 401. Oh, I'm sorry, this is for the first case, the criminal trespass, right?
Yes.
Okay. Officers were dispatched to 401 Eagles Crossing Circle in reference to a domestic disturbance. Upon officers' arrival, they made contact with the victim, Tariq Williams, Tariq, who stated that he was involved in a verbal altercation with his mother, the defendant. He stated that during the altercation, the defendant took his cell phone, a blue Motorola, and refused to return it.
Okay, recommendation.
As to count 1, the state is recommending 12 months, served 1 day, credit for the time served. The balance will be probated for the defendant to pay a $300 fine, and then the balance can suspend as long as she has no violent or harassing contact with
All right. Next case.
On this case,
Your Honor, I'm sorry, what case number was that one?
I can't hear you.
What case number was that one, Your Honor?
That was the first one, 2026 CR 01765.
as to the second case, officers responded to, on March 30th, 2026, officers responded to a domestic disturbance at 401 Eagles Crossing Circle in Clayton County. Upon arrival, the officers made contact with the victims, Rachel Jordan and Dontrell Williams. Dontrell is spelled Dontrele. And they stated that they were having a conversation with the defendant when the conversation had escalated. They stated that the defendant became irate and threatened to break all the windows in the home. At that point, the victim, Rachel, called 911. in fear that the defendant would actually break all the windows in the home. While Rachel was on the phone with dispatch, the call was disconnected and dispatch was unable to call back. When officers arrived to the incident location and was able to ask Rachel about what had occurred, Rachel, the victim, had stated that while she was on the phone, the defendant snatched her phone and ran out of the back door. The officers made contact with the defendant, who was walking back to the home. They detained her and read her Miranda rights. She refused to answer any questions, but she was, and at that point, she was placed in custody.
All right, recommendation?
As to count 3, the state is recommending a $100 fine. That's the obstruction one. As to count 4, the state is recommending 12 months to serve 14 days. Credit for the time served. The balance will suspend as long as the defendant does not return to the incident location. 401, Eagles Crossing Circle. Riverdale, Georgia, 30274. And as long as the defendant has no contact with the victims, Dontrell William and Rachel Jordan.
Ms. Tortorello?
I'm sorry, counts 1 and 2 will be no.
Does your client have a job?
Your Honor,
You're gonna have to step closer to the mic. You can move, you can move on the other side. Yeah, there you go. That's good. All right, talk to me.
I'm not aware that she does, if she has a job, but she's advised me that she's able to pay the fines, but she will need 60 days to pay the fines.
Okay, Ms. Tortorello,
Pay 'em right
sometimes we gotta ask some more questions. This woman doesn't have a job. The activities she's engaged in do not seem to be those of somebody who is going to work every day, and coming home to a stable situation. So already I have counted $444 on the first case and $153 on the second case. And you're telling me that the woman I'm looking at has the ability to pay all of that.
Do you have a job?
I mean, I do work. Where do you work? I have my own business in bracelet.
She says she says she does work, Your Honor, but I understand where you're coming from, Your Honor. Therefore, I will ask if the fines can be suspended.
Or if I can pay them.
Hold on. Miss Brenda, look up Miss Jordan and see if she's ever been on probation before.
I'll look into that now, Judge.
Thank you.
Okay, Judge. So it looks like in state court, the last time she was on probation was back in 2001 for a battery family case.
Okay, do we know if she completed or if she had any hearings for probation revocation?
Yes, it looks like she was on, her probation was violated a few times. She was on the probation walk-in. It was 4 different times, and ultimately her probation was revoked and her case was closed.
Thank you, Ms. Brenda. All right, so not a probation candidate. Not sure she's going to be able to pay within 60 days 600 and well, right at $600 with no job that we know of.
She has advised that she does have a job, Your Honor.
Oh, now she has a job?
Well, I was able to speak to her after you.
Where's she
asked
working?
that, Your Honor. She has her own business, Your Honor, and I asked her whether that's something that she currently gets income for. She says she does. And
Okay. All right, ma'am. On case 2026, I just really don't believe in setting people up for failure. I ask questions and I keep asking questions because if I look at what you charge with and I look at the behavior, and you tell me initially that there's no job, then this does not look like somebody who in 60 days is going to be able to pay $600. I'm just telling you that right now. Because if that was the case, she would have bonded out. Just pointing some things out. So, Ms. Jordan, this is your ride. This is what you agreed to. 2026 CR 01765. A NOLO plea, 12 months to serve 1 day credit for time served. Balance will be suspended as long as you pay a fine in the amount of $300 within 60 days. And you're to have no violent or harassing contact with Tariq Williams. Now, is that my understanding of the recommendation?
Yes, Your Honor, that's
Okay.
perfect.
And then on case 2026 CR 04580, which will run concurrent with 2026 CR 01765, on counts 1 and 2 will be no pros, counts 3 and 4, which will run concurrent. Count 3 and 4 will run concurrent to each other. The count 3 is $100 fine, which will be $153 with the surcharges, and count 4 will be 12 months to serve 14 days credit for time served. Balance will be suspended as long as you have no new violations of the laws of the state of Georgia, that you do not go back to 401 Eagles Crossing Circle, Riverdale, Georgia, Clayton County, and that you do not have contact with Rachel Jordan and Dontrell Williams for the next 12 months. You understand these things, Ms. Jordan?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so this sounds like you're not going to have contact with your son, Tariq Williams. You're not going to have contact with your daughter and son, Rachel and Dontrell Williams. We clear?
Yes, ma'am.
12 months.
Can I ask a question?
Yes, ma'am. Come on up because I want to hear from you.
Okay, well, all of this still, my mom, she has dementia. And I understand where you're coming from. I was her caregiver. She's not gonna remember none of this or whatever like that. When she was in the hospital, she told me that somebody raped her and all of this other little stuff. And she told my son that. So it's like y'all are listening to a dementia patient. My mom, she's 81 years old, and I was taking care of her. That's why I work, but as far as a job or whatever, I don't have a job, but I do work for myself because my mom was I was taking care of her. So I'm just wondering, and I don't even want to think like this, but you said a year. My mom, I don't even think she even have a year to live.
So Rachel Jordan is your mom?
Yes.
Now, Dontrell and Tariq are your sons?
Tariq, he's actually locked up right now with me for he caught the news as far as he kidnapped his son. It's a lot of I'm sorry.
Yeah, don't go all into that.
Oh, I'm
and
sorry.
Then what about Dontrell?
Dontrell, he listened to what my mom said. She has dementia. I have or whatever the case may be. So I'm just wondering that like I said, she does that with her dementia. That if she passed, like, can I even go to her funeral?
Yes, ma'am. Let's hope she does not pass.
I'm just saying all of this just stem from it's her dementia. She goes in and out, in and out, in and out. And she says that when she was in the hospital, she told me somebody raped her. She told me somebody did, you know what I'm saying, touched her
you.
and all of that. So it's like that's where everything is coming from, that I actually was there caring for her.
Okay, this is a whole different story than what these charges look like. And it gives some context to what's going on. I'll suspend the $300 fine and you just pay the $153.
Thank you, ma'am.
You're welcome. As far as the contact, who is Miss Jordan living with?
Okay, so my mom, she had and I got evidence, but she had a stroke. And when we went, she was in Grady at first, then they moved her to Emory. And when they moved her to Emory for the rehab or whatever, I signed off for her to be my medical, her caretaker. Then she's getting worse or whatever like that, when she's basically out of her mind. So we was organizing a way for her to go into the facility. So she don't want to do that. So she basically she tried to get me locked up because I told her that she was going into a facility. So that's basically where all this stuff's stemming from. So
But who is she living in your house?
No, she's staying in her house, but we was caring for her.
Okay, and Dontrell is staying in her house with her?
No, he was just there. So she told him all of that or whatever, and that's why I did it, because I'm like, that's what she says. When we was at Grady, she told me, she said something because she was trying to get out the hospital.
I got you. Is anybody disagreeing with no violent or harassing contact?
No objection from the state, Your Honor.
All right. So no violent or harassing contact with Rachel
No,
Jordan.
I didn't. No, she was just saying.
No, listen to me.
I'm sorry.
You can have contact with her as long as it's not violent or harassing.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Okay. You can go back with the sheriff's office, Ms. Jordan.
All right, thank you.
All right. So I believe that concludes the jail calendar.
Oh, what did we decide to do on Riviere?
He's out to bond. So
Okay.
he's already been scheduled for the next arraignment calendar.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
You are welcome. Thank y'all.
Thank you. Y'all have a great day.
All right, you too. Take care, y'all.
Thank you.
I'm still signing. These tablets are slow as all get out, but I'm signing.
Excuse me.
All righty. Take care.